a lot of things I think could explain the success of this series. First of all, the names, Guillermo Del Toro, Carlton Cuse, they stand for quality. The first for all what is sci-fi or invented monster, the fantastic dream and horror stuff, and Carlton Cuse for contemporary TV series storytelling. He's the guy from Lost, you know? He's the guy who invented Lost. So it's the guy who's invented Lost and the guy who has a prolific history of fantastic monster movies in his on his shield. They are doing the strain. Then you have a wonderful team of writers. They come from Homeland, American Horror Story. They really have proven their qualities. Then the fact is that we are bonding very much. We are very supporting to each other. We are very happy to be together. We actually hang out together in Toronto even after having worked a lot. We are sustaining each other because shooting is very hard under very hard conditions, and what we have to do is sometimes not pleasant at all. Quite often it's not pleasant. So there is a kind of family bond between us that makes the whole thing really positive. People here in the press and are wondering why we are so happy together. We're kind of one of the happiest groups here on the whole panel. And last not least, that's also was mentioned in the press. It doesn't take itself seriously, but it doesn't prevent you from making a serious job. You do a serious job. You try to do high quality jobs, but then you know that it's for entertainment. And I think all this gives a very clear vision where we want to go. We know where we stand. We know what we have to do. And last not least, a very good preparation. If not only that Guillermo worked on this idea for more than 20 years, for over 20 years. So you have a very, very, very solid basement on which you can construct the whole rest, you know. So for me, the quality of the second season is solidifying, intensifying, and going parallels. We developed a lot of side stories. They are not in the books, but nevertheless we go straight forward. So there is a dynamic evolution of the events. It's not putting water in the wine, you know. It's not stretching it because we need 13 episodes. No, we wanted to have new characters in the plot, new supporting characters, and some of them have big chances to become big leads in the further seasons. Like Dutch Velders became a lead. You know, Dutch Velders is mentioned in the book by a single phrase. And look who she is now. So there is this quality of bringing in new characters, bringing in new stories, and letting them evolve. And if the combination is good with the other actors, the writers, the production, then we go forward with it. And we have New York as a main character coming in again, which was a little bit out of focus in the first season. But here we are, and we know exactly where New York stands. Has it fallen? Is it still in the hands of the humans? Where are the critical points? Where the vampires have taken over? How far they are gone with their plot and complot? So it's really solidifying. It becomes very, very solid, you know? So my character is like the second season. It's more solid. It has good screen time. It has flashbacks, and it integrates in the side stories very well. So we can have focus on this character, and he can have side stories. They are production value to the main plot, you know. So we have the conflict between Eichhorst and Palmer pushed forward. We have the master being needing to escape in the showdown of first season, so he's in bad shape. So there is an issue. There's an issue with Palmer, and there will be issues with the ongoing realization of our plot. And a lot of new characters come in, either friends or enemies of Eichhorst. So there is a lot to do and a lot to fight for or against. So my character will evolve like he's in the middle of the purpose of the second season, and intensify, go deeper, and go backwards. We have a lot of flashbacks where characters have a chance to tell their story, and thus give the public a brighter and deeper view in their characters. So they are not reduced to their simple function as heroes or bad guys. You know where they come from, and you know why they became what they are. So that's one good point. And the other thing is that we have this interaction with the new characters. New York as a main character comes in, and represented by the burgomaster or the mayor. We have the good vampires, we have the bad vampires, so there are a lot of stories to be told to understand what's happening, because there are a lot of open questions after the first season. So second season basically gives a lot of answers to those questions. Where the good vampires come from, where the bad vampires come from, how do they function, why are they enemies. So it goes digs deep down backwards, and it pushes forward the plot, the contemporary plot, in order to come closer to an explosion. So, revisiting my character, or the relationship with my character, is a tricky one, because it's half made out of something that doesn't exist. It's just an invention. It's a condensation of our fears, and half of it is human. So the human side is quite explainable, and you come from the emotional side or psychological side. The other side is more a construction and condensation of all the possible and impossible fears or bad intentions a human being might have, so you construct a thing that doesn't exist. So it's not about psychology. I bet that I don't know, the guy who played Alien didn't think a lot about psychology. It's a construction of evil, very thoughtfully put together, and it's a condensation of something which is not human. So we have this with Eichhorst. Half of it is that, and the other half is human. It's a little bit tricky, because it's perturbating, and at the same time it is not at all. Let's say the thing that interests me most is to be, at the one hand side, completely relaxed, to obtain a kind of arrogant relaxation. There's a relaxation that in the body and in his behavior, in his manners, that transpires arrogance. And at the other hand, to be so poignant, to become a knife, to become a stinger himself, so that you have this idea that he could in a fraction of a second, he could do something that's very bad. So you have this moment of surprise. I think that's the thing I'm most concentrated on. It's not so much about psychology anymore, as I have done a lot in the prep for the flashbacks. I have done a lot in the second season too, because we have flashbacks too. It still remains an enigma to me, and for the time being, I have shape. I have constructed. I'm quite happy with. and I go into this shape. But it's not as organic as Heinrich Müller in the French series is. Heinrich Müller is just a human, and as evil or perturbed he might be, he's a human. So you can really develop him from the human side. And when you revisit the character, it's like putting up a show you've done in theater, you know. It's nice to revisit your character. Here it's not nice to revisit Eichhorst. It costs me a little bit. So, yeah. But I'm willing to do it because, artistically speaking, it's a wonderful work. So, yeah, the Comic-Con is it's more relaxing for me because I'm more relaxed, but it's just because I do meditation. So it's a little bit of trance thing when I go into the streets. It's like the Brazilian Carnival and Halloween mingled together. You know, you have a lot of people who just realize their dreams of superheroes, and they dress like that. Some of them are half naked in fishernets, and some are just painted in yellow, and some dress like bananas for whatever reason, and so on. And it goes on and on and on. And a lot of them are dressed up as characters you do not even know who are those characters. You ask them, then they are minor characters they are fond of in little video games or comics nobody has read, you know, but they love it and they do it. And then there's no judgment. There's absolutely no judgment. It's absolutely beautiful. There's no alcohol. Nobody is drunk. It's better than the world champion soccer end game when the Germans win in Germany. You know, it's more peace. It's absolutely, completely peaceful. Yet the town is so crowded. I think they have reason to be proud of a culture they invented, didn't exist. It wasn't imported by the Irish or whatever immigrant culture. No, they invented it here. It's American pop culture, Comic-Con pop culture. And they do it at 150%, and they're happy. So you become happy just by watching them, you know.